Welcome back, friends. Good to see you again. And I hope that you're managing to get out and snag whatever bit of sunshine you can. I know it's fairly warm, not by the standards that I grew up with, but certainly by Ontario standards. It has been pretty warm. So I hope you're finding enough shade and hydration as well. This last Sunday, I spoke at length about something that's going on, not just in the Christian scriptures, though I focused on Paul's writing, but really I would argue something that's going on throughout the biblical text. John Dominic Crossan, biblical scholar with which many of us are familiar, once said that the stories of the Bible might be characterized as the radical message of God breaking into the normalizing tendencies of civilization. That was how Crossan characterized the biblical text on the whole. Obviously, it's a generalization, but I do think it captures maybe the profundity of what Paul is preaching and what I tried to speak to and reflect on just a bit. These structures by which we live, that we're brought up with, that actually teach us how to think, and they affect how we see the world. These structures are limited precisely because humans created them. And what we create has limits. That doesn't mean they're unhelpful and that we should toss them out entirely, but they are not going to accomplish what we necessarily want to have accomplished in life. And in fact, I'm not sure they're even designed to respond to some of our deepest needs and hunger. These circles of reality or structures or ideologies are exceeded by the gospel and by Paul's announcement that he was here to preach Christ crucified. Because in Paul's mind and understanding, Christ crucified means that our search for some stabilizing anchor that is going to keep us protected from and safe from the vicissitudes of the world. This idea that we could somehow erect a fortress of meaning and preventative care, that somehow that was going to keep us safe from those forces. But in reality, faith is not about being safe. It is about looking headlong into what is and walking forward in faith. Not because you have the assurance that things are going to go right today or tomorrow. Not because you have the answers or that everything makes sense or that you believe in a deity somewhere that's going to intervene on occasion and fix things. You don't have to have those things. And in fact, I would say if you do, they can be limitations because they are from those structures, those limiting ways of thinking. I'm not saying we can get by without them entirely, but they're not going to get us to where we need to be as a people of faith. Faithing it is the only way. Notice, I didn't say faking it. Faithing it, which means trusting, not in what you can know or make sense of, trusting not in some kind of superpower, some Superman somewhere that's going to come and save the day. My little guy and I were watching Superman recently, and we enjoyed it, of course. But I think, unfortunately, as adults sometimes, we still carry over some belief, and there's different versions of this belief, that something somewhere is going to come in and fix everything, or that we know everything, and if people would just listen to us, we'll fix everything, right? This idea that what we've done is going to somehow be fixed in some sort of immediate or probable future, I think is misleading. We are here to address, to respond to needs, but to pretend, to claim that we're going to fix it and that we have the answers all the time is deceptive, it's injurious, it is not authentically who we are called to become. So I invite you this day to reflect on which circles, which structures, which patterns of thought have inhibited you, which patterns of thought have kept you from receiving and living into the fullness, the radical fullness of the gospel, which is good news. But it's not good news in the way that a piece of chocolate might be good news at the end of a day, or an exciting movie or an amusement park. It's not that kind of good news. It's good news because it means those limiting patterns of thought, those limiting ways of seeing the world and searching for power and signs, that they are not the end-all be-all, that there is another way that we call faith. It's there for you, for me, and for everyone. So I invite you to consider what might be holding you back and what you might be called to unburden yourself of as we move forward in faith into this day and all the days to come. Thanks for joining me this week. I look forward to seeing you next week right here.